the universe.
I'm Dora. Welcome to the space and the Dora podcast. I hope that the space is one where we will remember who we truly are, and I hope to support you with it and myself as I'm going through the experience, and to remember who we are that we've forgotten. If you find anything that I say that's of support, please remember there's a whole lot of other things that I do, and they will be under the description: workshops, one-on-ones, classes. I want to say that I am not a shaman or a guru or any of those labels. I am Dora, and I am only here to share my experiences through my own life and things that I remember from before this incarnation. And I hope it supports you, truly. And I hope to see you back here again. Thank you.
Do you feel like there was a point in time where you needed permission, or was this just validation that you were on the right path?
It's interesting because I was on the right path for me.
Yes.
All these things that happened supported me in being more persistent, more
Yes.
consistent,
Yes.
more knowing that there was much more than meets the eye.
Okay.
And it's there if we look.
Okay.
Because I could have also just pretended that didn't happen.
Yes.
And people do that.
Yes.
No, I like to be real.
So what made you not pretend that it didn't happen?
Because I could see it. I could feel it. It awakened something in me that also knew there's more than what just meets the eye. Because quite often what meets the eye is simply what we want to see.
Yes. Yes.
And I wanted to be more of me, right? I wanted to remember, even though I didn't put it in those words then.
Yes.
A lot of what I am saying is me looking back and going, oh, that's what I was doing.
Yes.
That's what was happening. And I think it was perfect for me.
Yes.
That my doubt wouldn't be coming in if it was other people's
stories, and
it was happening to me.
Yes.
And then when other things happened, it inspired me and it enriched and it confirmed all those things. I'm human.
Yes.
I'm very happy to be human.
Yes.
I need confirmation just like anyone else does. I'm just very lucky that I'm 68 and I've had lots of confirmation.
Yes.
A long road.
So what made you want to share this journey of finding more about self with other people?
It's lonely. A lot of the people all the time that you talk to, first they kind of go,
yes.
Then they go, not so sure. And you can hear them. I mean, I sometimes can hear those things, and it's easier if you open yourself up, even if it's just a little bit. And the people that come,
yes,
are already curious, maybe. Sometimes they come to debunk you.
Okay.
And they go, so, you have voices in your head,
Okay.
and you go, okay, this is going to be an interesting person to work with if they choose to.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's perfect, just the way it's all happened to me. And I think bringing people into my world a little bit more, which is actually all of our worlds, if we are willing to be there, it makes it less lonely. Lonely is not about how many people you have around you. It's about a place within you that is not satisfied, that is unfulfilled. And so it fulfills me.
So
not so lonely.
helping other people also find out more about themselves.
Oh, certainly. I know we are all one. And if you remember something, I benefit from it. And if I remember something, you benefit from it.
Yes.
And everyone else, whether we know it or not, because something connects us that we don't see, or most of us don't see,
Yes.
but we connected nevertheless. Like, I don't know if my heart knows about my liver and my liver knows about my spleen, but they're certainly connected.
Yes.
And they certainly couldn't do without each other.
That's a great analogy.
It's the same with all of us,
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
So how do you protect yourself against the people, or how do you protect yourself with working with so many different people?
Yeah.
Not necessarily only the ones that want to debunk you, but obviously you work with a lot of people's history and a lot of their struggles.
Yeah,
So,
and it's crisis sometimes.
yes.
I think the best protection ever is your own frequency, your own strength, your own conviction,
Yes.
your own consistency and persistence, and your own alignment with your soul. I'm using many words.
Yes. Yes.
That is something that you've got to build. In the meantime, there's many things that help. The colors you wear,
Oh, interesting.
the jewelry you put on, the crystals you may hold, clearing your space, making sure that you are doing what's good for you. And good, I don't mean easy.
Okay.
Because sometimes the easy thing is to just lie on the couch watching TV, eating chocolate. Used to be a chocolate. Reformed. I mean, good as in it supports you in being more in your body, being more heart-centered, more grounded. And so that's and I don't see it as protection.
Okay.
I see it as I've chosen to do this work, but to do this work, and I don't know if work is the right word, but let's call it work. I have to first be working on me.
Okay.
And be my very best. And that's, if you want to call it protection, my very best protection. If you also know how to work with energy, I'm not using my energy. I'm using universal energy.
Okay.
But you have to be of a particular frequency, connected in a particular way, consciously enough. And I don't mean in your mind. I mean a consciousness of self that allows you to tap into the universal energy. Otherwise, I'd be very tired all the time.
Yes.
You won't look tired.
You've said a lot of different things now.
I know.
How did you learn about internal frequency and grounding? I mean, you did a lot of research in the libraries and you've done quite a few courses.
Yes.
So what's made you choose those things too?
Yeah, I've got something in me that if you tell me that about that course or that workshop or that person's name, just the resonance of it tells me whether I want to or I don't want to. And I'm not saying the person or the course isn't good.
Yes.
I want to or I don't want to because it is for me or it isn't for me. And so I started by doing kinesiology.
Oh, okay.
That was my first course because someone spoke about someone and I went, oh yeah, that calls me.
Yes.
I feel something.
Yes.
Flutter in my body, an excitement, not a excitement, cool, ego. Like I don't really know about kinesiology, but it spoke to me. So I went and I did the physical one, the emotional one, and the spiritual one. So 3 courses. I did soft reflexology, so not hard, just and language of the feet. And I did a sound. No, it wasn't a sound healing course. It was awaken your sound within.
Okay.
I've done acupuncture and Chinese medicine. I have done feet chiropractics. I have done loads of workshops.
It sounds like it.
And basically, what I pass on is what actually I learned, but then what I learned doing all those things. It was a lot more than what I was taught.
Yes. Yeah.
I also tend to pass on what I can see works for the majority of people.
Okay.
Not only
Yes.
because there's all the, the bell graph,
Yes,
there's all
yes.
you
The
also,
fringe.
they're also people.
Yes.
But I've accumulated enough, and I've been working face to face
Yes.
for now my 27th year.
Wow.
But I started really working more consciously, as I said, since my son was born. And before the, I say 27, but for 6 years, nearly 6 years, or just maybe over 6 years, I worked at my corporate work.
Yes.
And I did this part-time.
So what made you switch from doing, weekend work at your kitchen table to
Literally.
to doing it full time?
I think the more I remembered about who I was, the less the corporate work I aligned with. I'm not saying corporate work is good or bad. It is what it is. But as I became more of myself, it aligned less. There's a lot of fear.
Yes.
In the corporate world. We've got to make money, and the shareholders need to be happy, and I don't like that colleague, and I backstab the other one, and it never really, but it became more and more evident how no judgment. People do lots of things out of fear, but it didn't work for me.
Yes.
And I became very focused on taking enough savings,
yes,
that I could leave my corporate work and do do an experiment of doing this, see if I was able to, and I had enough money that I could look after myself and my 2 boys for a year.
Oh, wow.
Reduced my expenses,
Yes.
but I could do it for a year.
Yes.
I didn't want to go stressed about money into this work, because I do know people do things that they shouldn't, or that sounds judgmental. Ultimately is not the best for them long run.
Yes.
And for me, one of the things that's most important for me is that I do not compromise my integrity, because I need to take my child to the dentist or put food on the table.
Yes.
I wanted to go into this experiment, this adventure, without having to stress, because stress brings your frequency down. You're really not going to be at your best. I wanted to go into it going, I'm okay. I can do this.
Yes.
And not let my own fears get in the way of doing it. I said a lot there. So I didn't feel aligned anymore.
Did you try and bring any of your spiritual practices into the workplace?
Oh, yes. People sometimes, I had a little bit of a cue. Dora, do you think I could come speak to you now? There was actually a colleague of mine that didn't like his staff coming to me for a headache, a migraine, a crisis in their marriage, and I was very clear. You need to come at lunchtime or tea time, because I'm,
Yes.
unless you're going to risk, slice your wrists.
Yes.
You're like, he didn't like it because he felt like I was in. One day I said to him, she was going to go home, or she was going to stay and work.
Yes.
And when I worked at her, she was no longer having a migraine.
Yes.
So, am I getting in the way, or am I also supporting you and the company? And then he had to go. He became one of my clients later.
Oh, my word.
Which, life is amazing.
Yes.
Circles within circles.
Yes. Because I know there's quite a few people nowadays that take crystals to work and have their own little altars at work. So it's interesting that you were doing this way back when already.
Yeah, when I was working my last job, I won't say names, but my last job, I had quite a few portfolios. I was change control manager. These things even go. I was in charge of all the computers in mainframes. I had about 5 portfolios. And the first thing I did, so I had my desk and I had a meeting table. I had a corner office.
Nice.
Just because that was the only vacant one. And I put this platter with crystals on the middle of the meeting table. And it was so interesting because I always had music soft. I burn a little bit of incense when I got there in the morning. I was the cookie one who had this job that was very pragmatic, very, safety and
logic. And
it was so interesting. People would come to the door and say, "Oh, you've got crystals." I was like, I already know a little bit about you. And someone else would come and say, "Oh, you've got rocks to throw at your staff." I go, "I also know a little bit about you." So it was, I was doing all those silly things back then.
Yes. And then obviously you transitioned into doing this full time. And what was it like suddenly having to do this as a full time?
Yeah. In some ways, very freeing.
Yes.
Not in all ways, because now you've got someone sitting in front of you who's picking at everything you're saying.
Yes.
Or is going, which, trust me, is just as difficult because now they're putting you in a place where you're just another person. Maybe you walked the road a little further than the other person. It's a lot of responsibility to carry.
Okay.
So I didn't like the or the
skepticism.
But it was part of me learning, right?
Yes.
And how else was I going to learn unless I had the experiences? But in many ways, it was very freeing. I always mindful of who I'm speaking to, and I don't stop me, but my guidance guides me.
Yes.
So if someone's sitting in front of me who's very logical, very, black, white, I will speak differently.
Yes.
Than someone else who's like, "Oh yeah, Dora, I understand energy chakras. Tell me more." Obviously.
Yes.
And then I can look at the energies and go, okay, this is just falling off. And I've got to turn my vocabulary into a more, if someone sits in front of me and I know how to speak Portuguese, which I do, then I'll speak Portuguese. But they only speak English, then I speak English.
Yes.
If they spoke Japanese and I didn't know, I'd have to find a translator.
Yes.
But it's like that with vocabulary, even if you're just speaking English.
Yes.
And also to be able to look at the energy and go, oh, when I said the word love, what came up for you was jealousy and abuse. Okay, love is not what I'm going to use. I'm going to speak about honoring yourself and appreciating yourself. And because when I speak gratitude, I can see you go,
wow.
And I go, okay, if I'm trying to support this person, let me adapt.
Yes.
Not lie.
Yes.
Not say what it's not, but say it in ways that they can hear me as best as I can.
Yes.
I don't always manage that.
Yes.
But I do my best.
So where did you start working from? I mean, was it an office park? Was it did you rent a studio?
I rented a little room.
Okay.
That had 2 chairs, so close that I had to make sure my knees are not the person. It had a little table where 2 glasses could go on, and I had a couple of crystals there. And it had chest of drawers. And for the person to get out, I would have to open the door, get out of the way for them to get out. Sorry, probably can't see me as I get up and demonstrate. And all my healing had to be done with the person sitting
Wow.
because there was no space for anything.
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, I wasn't just doing hands-on healing. I do a lot of work with my eyes and
Yes.
my own frequency and extend my frequency. So you sitting in my frequency, which means I can raise your frequency immediately, which means you can hear me better because you're more awake. You know, your frequency is higher. But that's how it started. And then I was living in Orduk and I was practicing on this side. It became a little too much, especially when I started my first meditation. Yeah, I called it the Tuesday evening meditations. And that was born out of people asking me
Yes.
to share more with them.
Yes.
Because people say to teach them, but I actually just share what I know
Yes.
and what I've experienced. So if you enjoyed what you heard in the video that you hopefully just watched, leave comments below, and there's information about me and all the things that I do in the description. And thank you for being here. Love incarnate. I am a light warrior. I am the creator. And I am who I am. I am you. And you are me. And together we are all.